much
Yeah,
fun.
let's
I'm
do
just
this.
so happy to have you in here. Mariana, the only, the one, only one. You've
Hey.
been doing so much work in our community. Honestly, I really appreciate you even having you. You are
Yeah.
such an amazing person and
Thanks.
also give back to the community, working the community, healing the community, and educating the community.
Come on.
So you are an amazing person. So I just want to, welcome you to
This
my
is how you say thank
podcast.
you in sign language. Like this. Do this. Do this. Thank
Thank
you.
you. I'm Mr. Pinalo with the Ethiopia.
I want to go to Ethiopia with you.
Yes, I'm taking a lot of people. That's the promised land.
All right.
Yes,
All
I'm
right.
taking people. Yes. But right now we're here in Sacramento.
That's right.
This is our community. This is how where we live.
Yes.
Our family, our businesses, our friends. This is our Sacramento is our community.
Yes. Yes.
So we want the best thing for our community, whether it's Black community, this community, we all Sacramento community.
Yes.
But today we're talking about our Black community.
Yes.
So, how we can heal Black community. And tell us a little bit about what you do, the amazing stuff you do for the community, and if you talk about a little bit about holistic healing.
Okay. Okay. So I realized at a very young age that my mom had me active in holistic healing before I realized it.
Yes.
Sometimes when you're born into something, you can take it for granted. You don't realize till you have your own critical thinking,
Yes.
your own self-analysis.
Yes.
And so I realized at a very young age, my mother had me in surroundings that were doing the yoga, that was doing fitness, wellness retreats, going to the ocean and the beach with different collectives and things like that. My Wose community, African spiritual family. So I think it took me some time to realize that this way of life of holistic healing,
Yes.
I was number one born into, and
Yes.
number two, I had to realize how different and special it is. Because I looked around, I realized my friends and my peers, they didn't know about health of the mind, the heart, spiritual health, and wellness. So how that amounts to where I am is I first began as a performing artist.
Yes.
Giving inspiration to community through poetry, rapping, theater, and having a powerful message. And that the artist community is a part of holistic wellness community.
I mean, culture.
Different roles, right? And then I realized I want to tap into my power, not just because there's a performance and people are clapping.
Yeah.
So I started to get into activism and more, and leadership more, and dabbling in different areas through my educational process in community with apprenticeships, internships with community programs, which I was very blessed to have a part in, rites of passage programs that teach you about health and wellness and how to be a sane Black person in America, be a healthy Black person in America. And so, thriving and applying my full self mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. So again, once I became a young adult age, I realized oh, my friends don't get this at my school. This is something different. I'm a little different than everybody else.
Young age.
Yeah, young, growing up in the 90s in Sacramento. And so once I got into my 20s and 30s and started doing more volunteer in the community, feeding the homeless, working with young youth, giving them guidance, I realized that, this is a passion for me. Serving community will always be a part of my life. But now what I do and how the performance art, activism, journalism, all those have one thing in common, that's serving community.
Yes.
I finally come to the point where I began to explore mental health and what I call emotional hygiene, and realizing that marginalized community members struggle in those areas. And even when I was younger, I remember I could hear non-Black people, they'll refer to their therapist just like their cousin. Oh, I was talking to my therapist, and I would kind of look around. I say, I don't never hear Black people say that. We don't mention our therapists. And I realized, there are no therapists that look like us, and there's no places where we can go. And even if we do, they don't understand our unique experience in a way that they can truly be connected, let alone empathetic and teach us. And so after I went through my experience with journalism and listening to all the stories of Black people struggling and suffering, I said, okay, yeah, I can perform for everyone and make them feel good for a moment, but I want to give more than just momentary fulfillment and excitement. I want to give people tools and things that they can use to manage their mental health, to manage their emotional health. And even if I'm not a psychologist, I can coach people and teach them how to do that. And so now what I am is called a social wellness leader, and that means I'm a social wellness practitioner.
Yes.
And I have operated over the last years in the home, school, neighborhood, and workplace. I've gotten beautiful training, certifications from a variety of organizations. One organization that I went through in my late teens, early 20s was a Black man and woman, husband and wife, both doctors. Very rare experience. And their collective was called the Progressive Investing Institute for Focused Learning. It's a mouthful. But I was able to be an apprentice with them and learn about how to create community events, how to help with restorative practices and care, and what a lot of times we say non-traditional, but it's very traditional from African heritage. The community, the Ubuntu spirit, we all pull together. And then I also had experience and got a lot of development through my Wose spiritual community and my mentors who taught me the importance of know thyself, know your history. Because for Black people, holistic care has to be inclusive of the fullness of our history, not just slavery. Because a lot of us have mental health and psychosis because of what we went through in slavery, but that's not what our story starts. So that's another program or another entity in my life that helped me to get to this social wellness work. And there's all kind of different organizations where I said, okay, I'm going to get certification in trauma-informed care and community family engagement and childhood development. And so I took all of these apprenticeships, all these certifications, all of these trainings, put them together, and I realized I want to coach. I want to coach the community and not make them wait till they have insurance to get help. Not make them wait till they find the right therapist to get help. And it became a beautiful practice. And what I call them is refresh sessions. So a little before COVID and all through COVID, I was doing one-on-one coaching. And that coaching is personal and professional development with an emphasis on mental health, on emotional hygiene, and overall holistic wellness so that you can reach those goals no matter what the barriers are from the society you live. And so in closing, as far as what I do, that can be keynotes from big conferences to educate people on how to serve Black folks and people of color or people of marginalized community. That's oftentimes workshops and facilitations, because it's one thing to hear the message, but sometimes people need to get in the workshop of it, do journal entries, do exercises, right? And then sometimes that's healing circles where people call me to their organization and say, we're having problems and issues with this particular area. Can you teach us and coach us through and give us tools? So that is what I do as a social wellness practitioner and how I serve in the community.
So basically it's like holistic health. So for me, I think holistic health is like our spiritual health, our mental health, our physical health, our financial health.
All of it.
So for our community, we are deficient in a lot of them. So if you're deficient in your mental health, how do you function? If you are deficient on your financial health, the same way, how do you get healthy food to keep yourself healthy? So when we say holistic health, it's about healing the whole community in those 4 areas. And where do you see like deficient in our community, even though we are religious people, are we really spiritual? Are we connected to the higher level? So are we listening to the 10 commandments? Or, we're following the culture of money, drugs, sex, and non-violence, which is not, God. That's a different culture.
That's right.
So how do we get back to that, our spirituality? How do we get back to our food and our health and our wellness, through natural, organic? And that's what you do.
So, one thing I think is very important when we're solving collective issues is to look at the divisiveness that we have on thinking that it can only be one avenue or one route to get there.
Yes.
As people of African descent, we know that there are a variety of ways to come together to resolve issues. And I think one of the biggest problems that we have that is difficult to talk about because it's so near and dear to people's heart is our religious differences.
Yeah.
If you take away all our religious differences and we simply go by basic moral practice of do unto others as you would want to you, it would be very, we would move forward faster.
Yes.
Because we would recognize that it doesn't matter what vehicle that you take to get there. The point is do you get there, right?
Yes.
And making sure everyone has a vehicle.
Absolutely.
So one of the big things that I teach when I'm doing holistic wellness is I say, I don't care what your religion is. I don't care what your spiritual practice is. If you are going to operate with the purity of doing people well and treating yourself well, that's all that's required for us to unify. We don't have to be the same denomination.
No.
We don't have to have the same culture. Africa is many countries, they're not all the same.
Yeah.
But if you ask them where they're from, they say, I'm African, right?
Yeah.
For us, because what we experienced for those who did come through the lineage of the Middle Passage, or even abroad, just colonialism and how it divides, that is, I think, the one thing that keeps us from mobilizing.
Yeah.
Because we only want to mobilize within one particular clique, when all of us as African are struggling. And if you're experiencing police brutality, they're not pulling you over because you're a Christian or a Muslim or a Hebrew Israelite.
Yeah.
They're pulling you over and they're profiling you based off you being a person of African descent.
Yeah.
And so I think for us to understand and move forward in holistic nature is to not have our religious beliefs divide us, but to respect each other enough to know that if we're coming here with a good moral compass, it's okay whatever you believe, because the common denominator is we need to work through our challenges collectively. And then the other side of that, I would say, is sometimes we wait a little too long for everybody to have the unity when we can be doing some work ourselves. And that's what I tell people. So I have a workbook. It's a trauma healing workbook. And it's called Own Your Shit. And shit, the acronym for SHIT is some healing in there. Because we all have something individually that in this planet, on this earth experience we're struggling with. And it's not just for us to wait only until all the outside resources come. We also have to meet halfway and be willing to do the internal work on our own. Because even if we get reparations and we get all the money, if mentally and emotionally we haven't been doing the effort and the accountability work, we may have resources, but our moral compass and our triggers will hijack those blessings and those resources that we get. So that is really where I come from, is I remind people, own your shit. There's some healing in there. We have to meet these resources halfway with the effort. Once we give that effort, when we are met with the resources, we can truly expand. It's not enough to just get other entities to give us resources and then we squander them, or we're not responsible and accountable for them. And so that's a big part of the work I do, is helping people with accountability work, but making it fun so that we don't feel so critiqued that we get angry and defensive about it. And so that's probably one of my favorite parts of doing holistic work, because people think it's always going to be, oh, it's just difficult and crying and shame and I feel bad about myself. We do cry sometimes because we're shedding and purging the hurt of our heart, but we also laugh and tease ourselves and joke along through it so that it doesn't get so intense that we can't continue and we give up. So that's a big part of what I think I contribute to holistic wellness, is making the actual process of it, not just sad and guilt and shame, but also a very good balance of joy and fun, so that you can return to the work and not always feel negative when you have to do the self-accountability and holistic self.
Absolutely, because we're still human.
That's right.
We're not perfect.
No. And don't need to be.
If we make a mistake, we have to be accountable and not do it again and move on.
That's right.
But at the same time, we have to think about why is it some people are doing that again and again. There's behind that they need to heal.
And that's a big part of the process. Is having regular check-ins to self-correct, so that when we do harm to ourselves or others, we don't have to wait till the authorities come and give us extreme measures for something that if we had safe spaces, we can work through those issues, self-assess, and someone to help you through it without making you feel bad. A lot of the society we're in, when they say restorative care, it's very punitive. And I think as African people, we've been being punished in so many ways without committing a crime. So when we do commit a crime against ourselves or harm ourselves or others, we're so used to being punished that we don't know that restorative care has grace and love and patience. And there's not a lot of people that have that for people of African descent. We have to give that grace, that patience to work through that. And so that's a big part of what motivates me, is making sure people can get that self-check work without being punished by outside entities.
Absolutely. I wish we had like thousands of you. I'm serious. Everybody would have been here.
But you know, it's just active work. It's like workout or eating healthy. Like it's just about pacing it to keep it going, not just doing a whole bunch and saying, "Okay, I'm healed, I'm done." No, it's forever. It's a process. Especially in the society we live, we have to constantly be in the healing framework.
Pay attention to our body, our mind, our spirit, you know, our money.
Absolutely.
How it comes out of our community so fast.
That's right.
The money never comes back.
Right.
And how do we heal? So all that comes up, and you know, you're talking about reparation. We need thousands of you, 100 of you, but that's why we need some fun. You see what I mean? That's like we were talking about, you know, reparation. If we had the fun, we could have huge spaces to heal the whole community.
That's right.
Well, you're only one person. You cannot train other people. You don't have the time. You have to have 10 hats, like we were saying, superwoman syndrome. You know, we juggling here and here. At the same time, we don't have enough fun, especially in our African American community. So when when the mayor initiated on the reparation program, this is what we're talking about. That program, look at Williams syndrome. That's what I say. That's a program they actually implemented in our black community, so we can be divided with color, with size, with and all that. So, but we got to reverse all that now through programs that really benefit from the babies all the way to the elderly. So now, you know, the reparation right now is at city level and, you know, on play and also at the state level.
Thank you for the work you're doing to make it happen.
I mean, everybody, not only me, there are so many work them behind it, you know. So we got to thank those.
That's right. We thank you, everybody. Thank you. Now you know this is the interesting fun fact is, although I'm from African descent, my lineage didn't come here through the Middle Passage. My father was Moroccan. My mother is a bloodline of Cape Verdean. So they're very African, but I have the American experience, but I technically don't qualify. Let me hear you. I don't qualify for reparations. But I do know that I work and do business and trade and barter and exchange with American Africans who live in America here that have gone through that experience. And so I don't have to be directly impacted by receiving funds. But if I know I work in a community that will receive those funds, then they can pay me to do more facilitation. And then we can keep the money in our community. So I think that sometimes it's easy for people to dismiss themselves from a certain movement, and that division is not necessary. If I'm here for people of African descent, no matter how they got here to America, I know I want my people to be stronger. I know I want my people to be healthier. I know I'm a tool to help do that. So if I help everyone else get reparations and put them in a space where they have the resources, then I don't have to go seek out employment opportunities. I can do it right in my own community. So it still benefits those of us who are not gone through enslavement as the way that they got to America.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
And you're Ethiopian too. You're not going to get.
I never had to go through. I'm immigrant.
Right,
back,
right, right.
So I know immigrants benefit in this country too. That's why I have like over 50 right now, over
Yeah.
50 million,
Yeah,
as many as the African
that's
American
right.
we have immigrants.
Yes, yes.
And I don't mind immigrants benefiting. We need immigrants and everything
Yeah,
else. But at the same time, we have to benefit the people first who their ancestors paid
That's
for
right.
for
That's
free.
right. That's right. And I see a lot of movements that have piggybacked on the work
Yeah.
of Black Americans,
Yeah.
and they get the resources
And
before the folks, and
it
that's
have to
not
be like
okay
that.
with me.
No, that's the system
I
of
see it.
racism
Yeah,
from
that
one
that
generation
is
to
right.
generation.
Absolutely.
That's why not just slavery, but even after slavery,
Mhm.
this stuff happened.
Mhm.
From redlining,
That's
from
right.
all that stuff happening to liberty to this day.
To this day.
To
this second.
day.
Right
the
now it's
system
happening.
the system is
Yeah.
systemically racist. So
Yeah.
until we change those policies
Right.
to benefit the community
Right.
that they say, they're helping, the
Right.
health and wellness or in the safety
Yeah.
of community, we don't feel like our community is safe when our community youth are dying every day from gun violence.
Right. Right.
Our elderly dying from lack of nutrition
Yes.
food.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So we have to, the reparation would help create a program.
Yes.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
Not just here you go the money, but how you use the money to
Right.
benefit yourself and your family and your community.
That's right.
Some people want to be business people. Some people want to spend it on their housing. Some people their health care.
Mhm.
A lot of elderly right now they need health care. They need their. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't have the top health care, so they die young.
Yeah, and that's just it. I think too. I think it's important for us to know, for those who are recipients of the reparation, the power of being able to apply it where you need it most. Every family has different needs. We have
Yes.
baseline needs,
Yeah.
but every family situation may be slightly different. Someone may need legal to be able to pay legal fees
Yeah.
to get their incarcerated family member out who is
Absolutely.
falsely accused
Yeah.
and been in prison for years.
Yes.
That family needs to apply that money to that situation. For someone else, it could be an elder in the family where they can't make enough money to send them to a home. And even if they did send them to a home for care, they might not care for them the way our own community
Yes.
would. So I think it's really important that we highlight that the way we use these resources is going to show up in different scenarios, which would require us to not be begging for
Yeah.
organizations to do it, because
Yeah.
we know where we need to
Yeah.
apply the healing.
Yes.
Trust us,
Yes.
and we should trust each other
Yes.
to know that once we get the resources, as my brother Keon said, we are our own medicine, right?
Yes.
And so I
Yes.
always remind people, before you go to the doctor, you are the main doctor of your life.
Yes.
You know your feelings, you know your
Yeah.
needs.
Yes.
We need to create safe spaces for you to articulate them so that we can connect you with
Yeah.
those people who got the reparations and have the resources.
Yes.
And that's a big passion for me.
Yeah, absolutely, because we can heal ourselves. I mean, otherwise, they have tried.
I don't want to
Still,
beg nobody to
Yeah.
I don't want to beg nobody to heal me.
Yeah.
That was a part of the reason why I'm broken
Yeah.
or hurt in the first place.
Yeah.
That is a psychopath,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's something that I wanted to flex on today, because I think people question, well, why do you need reparation? Why should we give you anything? We have to be able to have a trusting heart and mindset
Yeah.
to do anything.
Yeah.
There's no way you can feel safe and comfortable to receive healing from someone if you know that they are a part of the very system that hurt you. So the reason why we need our own resources is because the folks that are creating these systems are psychopaths. And I looked up, I'm going to read the
Yes,
definition. Let me read the
Psychopath.
definition of psychopath,
Yeah.
right? Because I have to remind people that most of the people that run this country,
Yes.
that create the conditions that Black people in, are psychopaths.
Yeah.
And we don't think about that unless we see a scary
Yeah.
movie,
Yeah.
right? We see a
Yeah.
scary movie in the stabber, right? Oh, he's a sociopath, he's a psychopath. We think of that in the most extreme and one-on-ones.
Yeah.
But psychopath,
Let's read it.
let's go.
All right.
A mentally ill
Yes.
or unstable person, especially one who does not feel guilty about not living up to normal social and moral responsibilities and exhibits a disregard for the feelings and safety of others.
Yes. Isn't that how we feel in our community?
If that doesn't define a white supremacist,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. If that doesn't define colonialism, you have to have a psychopathic nature. You have to have a sociopathic nature where you are disconnected from the harm. So why would we go beg
Yeah.
people that don't even have a connection to the fact that they have harmed us and expect them to all of a sudden get around? I don't want to go to you to get help.
Yeah.
I'd rather make sure my people get the resources and I go to someone who understands
Yeah.
and is not disconnected
Yeah.
from the conditions that created the suffering that my community goes through.
Do you think it's in denial?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I don't know, I mean, they say mentally ill. That's
Yeah.
that was the first thing that it said.
I mean, the system is not, for us, when we're talking about it, we're talking about the system that was created.
Right.
It might work long time ago.
Yes. Yes.
Right? Because
Yes.
that mentality
Yeah.
is what actually took them
Right.
all the way to Africa to
Right.
bring people.
Right.
They cannot, in their right mind,
Yes.
to
Yes.
go to some continent, go to Africa,
Still
and
human beings.
get people, unless they
You have to be
are-
a sociopath.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know what that was, but you have to be
Now you
that.
know.
Now I know.
You know,
To bring people, and then it's to be in denial
Yes.
for what you have done.
Right. Or to tell their offspring, get over it and pull yourselves.
Yeah.
It's past.
Yeah,
As if because
But
we're
you-
not physically there
yeah,
in that same circumstance. But we still have the chains around our
Yeah.
necks.
The
We still have the
policy. Yeah.
chains on our wrists.
Mhm.
We still have knees in our necks. We still have, it has
Absolutely.
shifted from a chattel slavery in
Yes.
chains, but the chains and locks are in our diet.
Yeah,
The chains and locks are in our education.
yeah.
Even though we're walking
In
around,
healthcare,
right,
in our food.
we're walking around in those institutions,
Yeah.
but we are still being treated,
Yeah,
right? And so I think when we talk about an extreme capitalist, right? And I understand I'm a businesswoman, so to a certain extent we are capitalists, but we talking extreme capitalism that turns into colonialism, you have to be a sociopath.
yeah.
In
And
order
also
for that to
greed.
work.
The
Yes,
greed.
yes.
The greed is, yeah, we are business people and everything, but you don't need to be greedy.
Yeah.
When they talk about civilization,
Yes. Oh.
we should take
Look, let's
civilization.
look up
You can't just
civilization.
eat by yourself, you gotta share it.
That's right. Let's see.
But the Western civilization is not even civilized.
Civilized. A civilized person is polite and courteous. You can't do that to go pillage your whole community, right? That's
Yeah.
not polite, that's not courteous. They know how to say please and thank you. So that means that you ask for what you
Yeah,
want
you don't
if you're
just go
civilized. You
take.
don't go take it, okay? A civilized group of people is characterized by being socially and technologically advanced. And what's interesting is when colonizers went to Africa, they said that we were not advanced, but if you
Yes.
look back, we
We
had
already
electricity,
were.
we had a cosmology, we had all agriculture.
Yeah.
Right?
That's why they brought us in.
That's
to
why
start
we
with.
are architects,
Yeah.
right?
And also civilization means two or more people,
That's
not
right.
only helping themselves,
That's right.
helping others.
That's right. Benevolence.
Yeah.
Benevolence.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is important as we get into doing more reparations work.
Mhm.
Just like for us that are Africans that didn't go through the Middle Passage, reparation is about benevolence.
Yes.
When you look at any community or society, especially when there's a Reconstruction age going on,
Yeah.
you look at Tulsa, you look at all of these communities where Black people were coming together
Yeah.
with their business in one place, working together, there was a level of benevolence, and that might mean you're a doctor
Yeah.
and I run a funeral home.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't need $1 to go
Yeah.
between us, but because we are benevolent,
Yeah.
you say, hey, I'm gonna need some help. My mama's sick right now.
Yeah.
I need you to
Maybe.
send over one of them nurses every Monday to take care of my mama. I got you. Okay, cool. Help me to, if you know somebody makes their
Yeah.
transition, have them come to my home, to my place, and we'll bury them with honor.
Yes.
At that point, that's not about the dollar.
Yeah.
That's about the value and the exchange.
Yeah.
And that means also too is maybe I don't pay you right now,
Yeah.
but you have credit with me. You
Yes.
took care of my mama when she died and
Yeah.
passed away.
Yeah.
Of course you can come here and I'll feed you in your community
Yeah.
activism work.
Yeah.
Right? So I think reparations is going beyond even just the dollar amount. It's the benevolence of shared resources. And that is also what gets shut down the moment we do that. So part of receiving reparations resources, and this is going to be my work, is to prepare us mentally and emotionally for the backlash when we start to organize and mobilize as a result. Because they burned down Tulsa and every other place, and there are places that aren't even famous that we don't know about that were destroyed because that greed saw us. We wasn't bothering nobody. We was independent. We were benevolent. We were thriving, and our communities actually started doing better than our oppressors. So a lot of my job is to not just fight for us to get here, but to prepare us in advance so that mentally and emotionally, when we start getting the backlash of mobilizing with our resources, that we know how to handle that. And so these are the type of things that I think about for our future holistic health. I think about now, but I also think about the future. Absolutely.
Then you can build whatever you need.
Yes.
Once you have the basic foundation.
Yes.
Access to nutrition food.
Yes.
Access to education.
Yes.
Access to housing. Access to healthcare.
That alone.
Access to good job opportunity.
That's a
what
thriving
America
community. Yes.
provides the
Yes.
opportunity.
Right.
That's why even immigrants
Come here.
come here for that.
And you
So-
see that a lot too.
Yeah.
You see a lot of Black Americans, they'll be upset because other people come here for that opportunity and the system is rigged to give it to them first, which creates more divisive nature between immigrants and folks that are here. And that's systemic on its own.
But there's plenty. There's enough for everybody.
Not if you're a greedy psychopath.
Yes. like
If
you
you're a greedy
said.
psychopath, you gotta have it all for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just for your own community. And forget that
And your
community.
own lineage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or take from that community and give it to you.
Yeah.
That's what is happening to
Right.
us, especially in our Black community.
And-
nothing is coming back to us. We're not
The
doing
dollar not
our
circulating.
share.
Yeah. Oh, come on, go on and drop that name. We're not what?
Owning our
We
share.
gotta own our shit.
Yeah.
That's right.
Everybody owns our share.
Yeah. Yeah, they own our shit. We don't own nothing. What that look like?
But we are the resourceful.
Yes.
You know, that's what makes me, but there's enough to eat for the whole world.
Yes.
Africa feeds the whole
It's
world.
been feeding the whole world
African
since
American has
forever.
their own pride.
Yes.
The music, the art, and
Right.
the culture itself should be wealthy in
Yes.
the community
Yes.
from that.
Yes.
But other community comes in and take and take
That's
and
right.
take, but never give back to
Right.
you.
Right.
Our
And
community.
that's something that also too, when I'm working with us, especially when I'm doing professional development, because I do the personal development for the mental, emotional health, but I also provide professional development coaching and workshops and education as well. And I think it's very important for people of African descent as we start thriving in business to remember, and what I try to say is, okay, be careful, because even we can become a sociopath.
Yeah.
Even we can
Yeah.
become a psychopath
Yeah.
because we think that making the money excuses
Normal.
some of the behavior that we do
Yeah.
that is not of godlike
It's not
behavior.
ours. Yeah.
So we have to make sure not to pattern ourselves
Yeah.
after our very oppressor and say, well, I'm making money, so
I
well.
don't care. I can do whatever just to make money.
And
but-
that's not the ticket. That's not the way. So my goal is not to be an extreme capitalist.
Yeah.
My goal is to, yes, thrive and create generational wealth, but to really, truly be a member of a benevolent community.
Yeah.
And eventually multiply those benevolent communities into a benevolent society. And when you say that, people get afraid because they think it's about communism. I'm not about one extreme or the other. Humanism in the balance in where we all need.
Yeah.
Our basic needs are
That's
served,
right. Yeah.
and other people aren't going without and
Yeah.
creating harm in our community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it's not just all honesty, Black people, whatever, but the way how the world is going, how all these rich people pay the politician to ruin our
Corruption.
earth,
Yes.
the environmental justice, and another thing.
Yes.
that we need another podcast.
Yes,
What the
yes.
civilization, Western civilization, destroyed our earth.
Yes.
Right now, in fact, we're not even.
Mother Earth,
Mother Earth.
I always say, if we keep mistreating Mother Earth the way we do, she gonna do a system reset and freeze the whole planet and say, I'm gonna just wipe all y'all out. We'll start all over again.
So we're not learning from the past because that's what Mother Earth did
Yeah.
when you know, the
She'll put, when you see all these disasters, and she will
the
purge us.
ice age time.
She will purge us very quickly.
Yeah.
And we think we got all the power with the money.
Yeah.
We could all be wiped out.
Yeah.
There's things going on right now where thousands of people are being killed. So I think your Mother Earth will get an attitude. We better start treating her
How
right.
many people are dying of cancer,
That's right.
dying of all the sickness that we
Yeah.
don't need, even though we have the healthcare, we have the wealth,
Right.
here,
Right.
but a lot of people are still sick.
That's right.
Only 2% in America are healthy people. I mean, that's not acceptable when you have the wealth and the resources and
Right.
everything under the
That's
sun.
right. That's right. That's an indication of who's running this country.
Yes.
That is a direct reflection.
They selling out our food.
That's
They
right.
selling out our soil.
That's right.
You know, 1%
right.
only in America, 1% organic soil left. All chemicalized. I'm serious. Check how many percent
I believe you.
organic soil.
I forget Google. I believe you.
Guess where that is from? That is in Sacramento Valley. Yeah,
Wow.
in California. Because I'm trying to grow my food.
Inorganic soil.
Yeah, organically. I'm gonna, you know what I mean? So if I'm gonna grow my food, everything has to be organic.
Beautiful.
My egg, my
That's why I'm going to your
Yeah.
restaurant to eat. After this, I'm going right to Queen Sheba to get my food, y'all, because it's organically grown.
Yeah, I'm gonna grow it too.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
because why not?
That's right. That's right.
So we can feed people organically,
Yeah.
so everybody can think, and
Yeah.
they not side,
Yeah.
side
And organically with integrity.
yeah,
Because you can go to the store. You can go to the
Yes.
store, you can find something that has an organic label on it, but then it also has a barcode on it and all kind of other things. So organic don't even mean organic these days. We gotta be careful. I want to know I can trust in benevolent
Yeah.
community members that are
Because
not doing it because it's a hustle, because
Yeah.
they actually care.
I'm gonna be transparent.
I know that right.
I'm gonna record everything that I do.
Yes.
I'm getting a land right now as we
Yes.
speak.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna have organic. The good thing they actually right now California, because they're in trouble when it comes to the soil.
Mm.
They actually give you grant to grow it organic.
That's a shame. So many people doing it crooked that they got to give grants out for you to do
Yeah.
it straight.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to come to your garden
I'm
and your farm.
serious. Yeah, why not? We can do all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much land, there's so
And with
much,
the resources,
so much resources.
unlimited
I can
possibilities.
grow my food right here in California, you know,
Beautiful.
organically. Why not?
Very good.
You
Very
know?
good.
So we can share information, knowledge,
Yeah.
and everything
Yeah.
with each other to benefit not just ourselves, our family, our community.
Yeah. And it's possible.
It is possible.
I think a big part of this
Absolutely.
reparations work is demystifying this idea for our community members. Things have been so difficult and in this condition for so long that people can't even fathom the possibility.
Yeah.
And in the work that I do with holistic care, it's like the first step is just getting people to fathom that you
Yeah.
can be healthier, let alone make the actual steps to do it.
Wow.
Once you take someone's ability to imagine the
Yeah.
possibilities,
Yeah.
that's all you need to do to
Yeah.
shut that person down.
Yeah.
And systemic racism and colonization has done a beautiful job.
Yeah.
Oh, an amazing
Yeah.
job
Yeah.
of taking away our active imagination to even believe or hope or
Yeah.
fathom of more.
Yeah.
And so that's why I try to always bring enthusiasm, spiritual enthusiasm in everything
Yes.
I do, because
Absolutely.
people need to believe again before
Yeah.
they can even achieve the actual steps.
Yeah. Moderation. Like for
Yeah.
me, honestly, the only time I go to doctors or whatever,
Yes,
once a year for
yeah,
checkup.
for your checkup.
Because my food is my health,
Yeah.
my water.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in that way, you're really listening to your body,
That's right.
listening to
Mhm.
yourself.
Yes.
You know, focusing on only the stuff that benefits you, benefit your family, benefit your community.
Yes.
Because when God created us, He gave us a choice.
Mhm.
He ain't gonna force us to eat healthy food,
Mhm.
and when we're sick, we're like, "Oh God, why?"
Mhm.
We can, you know, because
It's a
we have the
lifestyle.
choice.
Yeah. That's
And
true.
we have choices to choose the right thing. The same thing that human being, but when the system is choosing the wrong thing to oppress others, that's what I have problem. That's what we have to fight when it comes to our food
Yes.
justice, when
And
it
it's
comes
our
to
job.
social justice,
It's our
when
job
it
to
comes
do that.
to the criminal
Yes.
justice, what is happening to the youth.
Yes.
they're not providing them with healthy
That's
food.
right. That's right.
They're not providing them with a good education.
Right, right. And not even just providing, but they're not promoting it. They
Yeah.
promote garbage.
Yeah.
And not just the garbage of our mouth, but the garbage that goes into our head and in our ears and all of that. They give tons of funding for that.
Yeah.
If they gave us half the funding that they put into garbage music,
Yes.
we'd be all right.
Yeah.
We'd be all right. That's all the money we need is billions of dollars
Yeah.
that goes into creating garbage. So I'm not falling for the money and the resources isn't there.
Yeah.
But I'm also not expecting organizations that want to harm me to heal me.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's our job to
Yeah.
own our shit.
Well, that's
to
a
get you
product
that
to
work.
them.
That's
in fact.
right.
These companies, it's like the more our youth get into the jail system,
Yeah.
the prison
Yeah,
system.
we're products to that.
It's like a product, but we're not product, we're human beings.
That's
we're
right.
children.
That's right.
That's why you were talking about how like they're in denial in that
Mhm.
way. They can't
Mhm.
even think.
Right.
Like,
You have
how?
to be a sociopath. You have to be
Yeah.
a psychopath to completely disconnect to that part of another human being.
Yeah. If you can go to the moon, you have the solution to go there.
Yeah.
You don't have the solution to solve this, the youth, what you created until they destroy the family
Yes.
system first.
Yes.
Through drugs,
Yes.
you know, all that stuff.
Yes.
And now you don't even want to heal,
Mhm.
or you don't want to give the resources
Right.
and the funds,
Right.
but you get the money and the funds in the name of those justices,
Yes.
but nothing is coming to our community. Where is it? Do you see it?
I see it every day.
Do you see any fund coming into our community?
No, not the funds. I see the problems. I don't see the funds.
Hey.
Well, you know what? I think what it is we do see the funds. It's only towards the poisonous thing.
Yeah, to other probably communities
And
that
even
cannot
us,
hear us.
even us, we have to be accountable on our
Yeah.
shit. We ain't broke. As much as we try to, black people try to tell, we make
Yeah,
right? We make lots of money. So again, part of yes, we want these resources. We still have to do the self work to learn how
Yeah.
to manage them.
yes.
Because I know
But
people.
research needs fund.
They'll say when I used to do one-on-one coaching, people would say, "Oh, $60? How much you pay for your hair? How much you pay for your nails? How
Yeah,
much you pay for your smoke? How much you pay for your drink? How much you pay for Beyonce tickets? How much you pay for the?" I can go on and on
Yeah,
about the
yeah.
things that are if they're priority,
yeah,
we'll find the money,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So my job is to get us to make our health priorities
Priority.
cool,
Yes.
just like having your hair done cool.
Yeah.
We want to make sure your heart is
Yes.
clean and well managed,
Yes.
just like your nails. You
Yes.
want to make sure your mind is sharp, just like your outfit and
Yes.
your recreation. And so that's what I mean by being spiritually enthusiastic, to make
Yes.
it cool to have a strong mind, strong heart, to make it cool to manage your money and
Yes.
not just waste it. So the work is 50-50. It's not just for us to expect resources to come. We have to prepare ourselves to receive those resources and then use them wisely.
Yeah,
That's a
that's
big
why we need
passion.
education, because our youth, like you were
Right.
saying, when they don't have parents
Yeah.
to educate them
Yes.
like us,
Yes.
that we need that type of resources to educate
Right.
them and get them there,
Right.
and they'll take care of them.
That's right. And for some people that don't have parents,
That's what I'm
you
saying.
need a community auntie
Yeah.
to take you in and teach you. You need a resource. You need a community center that you can go to when
Yes.
it's time to get a job, go to school. You need to go to someone who's familiar with your experience. So
Yes.
I agree that we have much work to do.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
a lot,
Much work to
because
do.
you know, but at the same time, it's not, it's solvable.
That's right.
If they work with the community and instead of assume that this is what the community, like they do, and this is why I really like this initiation, doing the survey first.
Yes. Yeah.
And knowing what the heartbeat of the community,
Right.
what is it they need,
Right.
what is it they want.
Right.
Totally different from what they did.
Right.
They did.
And that's why so many people miss out on opportunities, because they don't participate in the initial steps necessary
Yes.
to be a recipient. So for everybody who's watching, where the flyer at? Okay. We got your call to action is to participate in these surveys that Sister Zion and all the other organizations who are part of these reparation
Yes.
campaigns. Don't be mad if it rolls out and you don't get the receipt. If they actually pull this thing off, right?
Yes.
If they actually pull this thing off, which we
Don't
believe,
come and get
don't come and be in
mad.
line and be mad, because you need to be a part of the participation before the fruit falls
Yes.
from the tree. You have to come and pull the weeds with us. You have to come and do the
Put
tilling
the
of the
water.
soil. You have to water. You have to sit under the sun and sweat.
Yes.
if you want to be a part of the feast. Now, we might love on you, but if you really want to have your own,
Yes.
the first part is honoring the steps that might seem small in the beginning. And that's why Sister Zion and people like me understand that we don't even get the reparation. We don't qualify.
Yes.
But we see the value in the small steps, and we're willing. I'm so grateful for people like you who are willing to have the conversation.
Yes.
So don't miss out
Yes.
on a potential movement if you know that you qualify, because they have people here that don't even qualify
Yes.
that are supporting us getting those resources. So that's what we got for you.
Yes. Make sure, and also May 18th will
May
be the event.
Oh, okay. So tell them where your event's going to be
Yes.
again.
May 18th at the African Place,
Okay.
African Marketplace. We'll be there from 12 to 6.
Okay. Okay.
And then we'll have music, free food, Dramaka will be there,
Nice.
community leaders will be there. So we're hoping at least 100, 200 people coming there and
Is your food going to be there?
Yes.
Hey, I'm there. Look. If anything else brings you out, at least her food will bring you out.
Yes, we gotta feed out.
Yeah. It ain't a party without good food.
Yes, and then you gotta get to people through there.
That's right. She's reeling you into the reparation movement with her lovely cabbage.
And greens.
Yes,
and vegetables,
yes.
and carrots, all the yummy stuff.
Oh, this
Healthy
was
stuff,
wonderful.
because we need healthy food, healthy vibe, healthy
Mind,
healthy mind.
heart.
Healthy program.
Yes.
So we can, and it is all possible.
That's right.
There's nothing.
That is the
impossible
theme of our
under the sun.
conversation today. It's possible.
Yes, it is.
It's possible.
It's possible. And we, let them, do this, and then we'll show how possible. It's not that hard. This is America. We have everything under the sun.
And even besides this being America, we are Africans.
Yes.
It's possible.
It's
It's possible on that more than the American side. It's possible because we're Africans and of African descent.
Yeah.
The possibilities are endless.
And Black people in general,
Yes.
we've been through a lot.
And we
For
make it
one thing,
happen.
Too, and
Yes.
then, so we make it happen.
Yes. This
COVID
is the next
or not,
wave.
we make
We
it happen.
make it happen. We
Whatever
make it
it
happen.
is.
It's possible. We make it happen.
And we're going to make it happen.
Very good.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Thank
so glad
you.
to have you
Thank
here.
So happy too.
Very
You did
good.
a good job.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, putting it out
Okay.
there, making sure like everybody hears about it.
Okay, so is it possible that you could call the restaurant and tell them to make me a plate?
Right now, right
Bye,
now.
y'all.
Good, yummy, yummy.
My food is ready for me. I gotta go. Bye-bye.
Yes. That's for Queen Shiva. Gives me my fuel.
That's right.
Good
That's right.
feel.
Very
That keeps me
good.
going.
Very good. But this is lovely. I cannot wait to come support. You have to let me do some events here for you and bring some folks out, good conversation,
Yeah,
talk
absolutely.
events, things like that.
Yeah, because this is going to be more community conversation
Yeah.
place where we can talk about, share information,
Well,
coffee.
I am one of the first in line to host some events here.
Yes,
So,
it's awesome for you. I'm gonna have a lot of young people coming in here performing as
Yeah,
well, art and culture. That's
Yeah.
who we are.
Yeah, we need it.
So I'm
Safe
gonna
space.
come on who we are.
Okay. Okay.
Very good. That's who we are. That is what it is.
That's what it is. Yay! Are we signing off?
Yes.
We're signing off.